Jesus. What? What is this? I would like to rotate it. No. Jesus. Can I download it and then rotate it? No. Right click. Save images. And desktop. Doesn't matter what you call it. This one. Can I rotate it? Yes, I think I can. Yes, I can. Zoom in. A little bit more. Because I'm blind. God damn it. Alright. Assurance. To double. Put a counter on target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. This is better than the Merfolk one, but it's the same. How the fuck is this a rare? The other one was a common. This indestructible makes it a rare. Fuck you. Alright, the other has 6 mana. Instant, that's good. Create 3. Ooh. 2/2 green creatures and white elf knight creature. Tokens with vigilance. This has too many goddamn uses. They really do. Combat's dead. That's what this pretty much says. Combat's dead. Unsummon. It's the format of unsummon. So goodbye dinosaurs. I guess I'll have to sell them. Yeah. We got golf on phone. Alright. Shit, that makes combat pretty irrelevant. That sucks. Alright, what's the other one? Join shields. 5 mana. Okay, instance. Untap all creatures you control. Fuck that up. They gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. There's one from Ether Rebel that's 2 mana. Well, when you make the same effect 5. Yeah. You don't get to untap them, but 5 mana, fuck you. The card sucks. Alright. Sprouting Renewal. Both. Choose one. Create a 2/2 or destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's a sorcery though. Oh man, this could have been an instant. Rare instant that would have been useful forever. It's really good. You give players the option. I like that card. It's low, but sorcery. This could have been an instant, man. Can you imagine? Maybe it's a little bit instant. Sorcery, yeah, I guess it's fine. Convoke, just one. Instant speed, created to 2 with vigilance. Instant speed, create, destroy an artifact or enchantment. So, goodbye blue white enchantments. Yeah, that card's gonna be pretty insane. Sage Worm. Trample, yeah. Trample 5/5. Teach Worm. Oh, at least Fatal Push has gone away. He's gonna get a lot of huge creatures. 7 mana, 4/5/5. I don't know. I like that they did this because this card's a sorcery, not a creature. Or is it? Oh, it's both. Okay. It's why doesn't why doesn't it say creature sorcery? You can either convoke to pay it and play it, or pay 7 and put a 5/5 with trample. That's more intuitive to me. I don't have to break my head with that. I like, it's good, sort of good. What's this? Oh yeah, the one I already took. It just makes combat irrelevant. Um, it's not that great either, cause I mean Celestia does that. I like that you get the bit counters, but. There we go. Buy bundle box. $3. They reduced it. And I can also buy it for $5 more in specs. I'd rather just support my local gaming store, and then it's just $5 more. So I'll support my gaming store and pay the tax out of my, yeah. Let's say it's close to, let's say it's $7. Buy it from them when it's better to just buy them singles. You waste less money. Booster pack, 249. Why would you? Not really worth it. Buy Planeswalker. It's better to just buy the 31991 because even though you'll get, wow, real estate October. Oh, it's pre-release prices. Buy combo pack. What's combo pack? I assume it's the starter kits plus. Buy Planeswalker decks. That's a count. I don't know what they do. Okay, these are the cards that I already reviewed. My still string. Yep. Alright. What's this? Book Devourer. Trample 4/5. May. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Okay, it's a 4/5 with a May ability. You know, that would have been good with the enchantment from Mountain Kid. Because it's like I discard 7 cards and pay 7 mana somehow, right? Magic Christmas land. And then put 7 drakes into the battlefield. Makes it all irrelevant once you know about Gotham. I should buy another one. No one's gonna have it. Alright. Cyclops Defender. Crap. Demir crap. Enchantment. What the hell does it say? It's in Portuguese. The todas las criaturas, all creatures que vosas get control, all creatures you control, they acquire, ellos adquieren la defensa talas manique, I assume equal. Okay, I guess it's manique. I don't know what that means. Has indestructible. Okay, they become indestructible till the end of turn. Till the fin da turno. It's an enchantment. So I assume this is an enchantment for 5 mana. To make it uncommon, it would have to be all creatures you control get acquire the defense tal manique. I don't know what this number means. Tal manique. It indestructible until end of turn. I assume this is vigilance, right? Vigilance and indestructible to end of turn. Enchantment. Why the fuck is this lazy art? I like it, but where are the trees? Just two retards feels like mono white humans. Two retards holding shield. Oh man. Every combat I assume they got juice. Either way, they get indestructible for 5 minutes till end of turn. I assume it's every combat step. Okay, before you enter combat or in the transition to enter combat, lightning strike your guy or shock your guy. This is just gonna make more removal a thing. So shock and lightning strike are real good right now. This card's useless. So that's 15 cents and shock, or 10, no, 5 cents shock, and then lightning strike is like 10 to 15 cents. So I spend 60 cents and get 4 lightning strike. I spend 20 cents and I get 4 shocks. Why is magic going down? Okay, this is, I assume, 2 red or 2 blue and 1 colorless. Defender. You failed. Whenever you cast an enter sorcery this turn, it can attack us though it didn't have defender. It's a fucking 4-3. Why would that? It would have been awesome if it were a 4-4. That extra point of toughness would have made the whole world of difference. It's a common. I don't like it. Again, lightning strike. You pay 3, I pay 2. You pay 5, I pay 2. It's no, it's these are all bad. I gotta wait for the girl fucking expansion. I think I should sell my dinosaur deck because the game is gonna get really, really bad. Four mana for what? 4 mana for a flying vigilance with mentor. Mentor sucks. So 4 mana for a 2/3. Maybe in limited. Hmm, limited. But this sounds like a win more card. It really does. Luxodon Restore. How do convoke? Enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Just like the one from Mountain Kid. Okay. Toughness Giant. It's a 6/5 solely for how much? For 5 mana. 7 mana. You get a 6/5. Summon. Again. When Giant enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each creature in your graveyard. This actually might be useful. This one. Toothless Giant, because it's target opponent. If I'm not mistaken, Planeswalkers act as opponents, right? Because they're other players. If it's like that, then this card is useful, like 2 in the deck. That's it. Human Knight. 4. Convoke. So far, all the cards suck. I'm not gonna buy a box for that. Even less. It's not through my gaming store local. We only have one. But even then, I mean, I know them, the owners. I know the owners since I've been, Jesus, 15 years old? Yeah, 15 years old. So you tell me, a 15-year-old relationship is it really worth $5? Fuck you. Or 6 with the text. Fuck you again. You have no integrity. Okay, convoke 2/4. That's it. It sucks. Okay. Keep going. Disinformation campaign. Enchantment. Okay. Enters the battlefield. You draw a card. And each one discards a card. Okay. Whenever you surveil, return campaign to its owner's hand. Wow, I know a combo. This is insane. Because I know a combo already. So it's 3 cards. Wow. Blue Black's gonna be combo like next set is gonna be combo like. There's it's a 5/5 or a 4/4, I think it is. In black. Now what it says is every time you surveil, you do so that there's a combo either way. There's the flyer, it's a black flyer, maybe it's here. With a tutu that's also black. I gotta check all the pages. Alright. Anyway, it's gonna be combo like to me, or gonna get this card your whole hand, and then it's like good luck. That's insane. Every animator is gonna be a thing, cause Demir's just gonna discard all your hands. Okay, so the combo is you pay 2 life, you surveil, right? And then the tutu I'm saying is, okay, it's a tutu. It says when you surveil, you put a counter on this card, heal 1 life, and draw a card. It's insane. And then with this one, it's like, okay, every time you surveil, send it back to your hand. But when this card, this enchantment enters the battlefield, it's like it enters the battlefield, makes you discard, Insane. Welcome to modern. Um, yeah, you draw and he discards. And then when you surveil, it goes back to your hand. Wow, the mirror is gonna be combo like. But there's secretive. The only thing I don't like is like it goes against the mirror. The mirror is gonna be the new combo. Okay? It's gonna happen. But this plus the combo I just said, I'm gonna find the cards. But they gotta be here. 5 minutes. 1 1. Whenever you surveil, put a counter. Oh. So with this one, it's like just set up till turn 5. Turn 5, you're gonna either make him discard the cards, uh, lose 18 life but heal 19, and draw 19 cards. And then, oh man, I'm waiting for girl. It should be here in the way the combo I'm saying. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. Okay, creature gets +1/+0. Rage key, cool. I'm on. I like Explorer better. I bought 4 of the 5/5. They'll let you put an additional land. The cost is too insane. I mean, one time I successfully, played all the lands I could. I got to turn 6, my opponent was on turn 3. Eeh, I only have one of those senators. Now I'm gonna have 4. I gotta wait till tomorrow. So yeah. Okay, what's this? Let's click on it. Save images. This stuff. Now we go with this. More retouch. So. Alright. It says to any can control target creature with power 2 or less. It's good for modern, right? For Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is 2 mana, right? So it's like that card's gonna be like, give me your Tarmogoyf. I like him. I might just win. He's gonna go to like 4/4 or 5/5, depends, because it's blue-black. Could be 2 blue though. Yeah, wait. 5 mana. Surveil 3. Surveil 3. Then return creature card Ranger to the battlefield. So it's Surveil 3. And after you're done surveilling, you return. This is a reanimator card right here. I think the only fix they did with this card was the blue-black. Because, I mean, you can't just gift the paradise and get either color. You can with the other enchantment, it doesn't heal you. All it does is get 2 mana of either color. So it's gonna have to be blue-black. This is the only one. So far, it's the only one. Because you can reanimate Gulta with this. That's insane. How about, I like your defense. How about a 12/12 with trample and there's going to be a lot more in the next expansion. Delete. Right click. Delete. Gonna play Minecraft soon. Alright. That's the only card. I hope it's like heavily printed, that way we can get it. I assume this is a flyer. Yeah. It's 2 words. Mihogo. Japanese. Either way, if I can read, I used to read all these letters. It's gonna be irrelevant information. It's a 2-2 flyer that does something cool. It's still 2-2, so better get counter or I'll just shock you. 2 mana enchantment. You may look at an additional 2 cards each time you surveil. Exile enhanced relance. Okay. Shuffle your graveyard into your library. Wow, Demir's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a lot of combos in Dimir. Because I see a lot of enchantments and sorceries. The creatures you get in Dimir are really weak. You get counter Charl, I'll just shock you. Shock's always gonna be in the game. A quick creature gets +1/+0 for each cage you control. Nope. I don't see any good. Well, I assume it's for the girl expansion, but I can't read this. Swift Lane Vindicator. Mythos something. Ooh, dragon. No, this is a drake. Yeah, it's a drake. Looks weaker. Dragon's like full-fledged. Alright, now. The ult on this one is like, hey, if you win, right? That's so stupid. It's Planeswalker. It's good for Timmy's. Before man. Before mana played. And then +2. Yeah, ult is my instant card. The last ability pretty much is if you create 2 tokens, I think it is. They deal damage to a player, you win the game. Yeah, modern. 6. You may have it fight target you don't control. Too expensive. It's a beast. Elf Assassin. See, they all get support except dinosaurs. All creatures able to block Okran Assassin do so. So it's a 1/1. Either way, you can only do combat damage once. Flying Mentor. I mean, 2/5 in you, so reckless range is useless. At the beginning of combat in your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. So on the turn, the creature gets +2/+0, gains trample, and it's red. Gains vigilance if it's white. Wow. Hard to kill? Let's check. Sky Knight Legionnaire. Flying Haze. 2-2 was fine. That's pretty good. You better kill it fast or it's gonna do like your whole life. The minute it gets into play, it's like this one you gotta wait for a turn. You're gonna get another guy. I think the format's gonna move to a single target. That's the only way Mentor is in Convoke is gonna actually be relevant. Rengar. Just 3 damage to each opponent. Pay 6. Pay 3. 2 colors. White. Tap another target creature. I can't wait for fucking roll expansion. I might just buy a box. Maybe. Garrison Sergeant has double strike as long as you control it. Yeah, it's good for like limited. Yeah, limited. A gate deck and limited. It's okay. It's the multi fairies. Okay. 2 mana. 1/3. 9 strike. Alright. Surveil 1. Lasta becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with converted mana cost X. We accept its name. It's Lasaf Multi Fairies. It's legendary in addition to the other types, and it has this ability. LOL! Yeah, Timir's gonna be a combo deck. That's gonna be fucking insane. Somebody's gonna pull off a combo. It's Father Guardian again. Those who don't understand, Feldar, let me Google it so you can see how retarded this combo is. Combo Sahili, right? Oh man, I still kept going to the FNMs, but let me just, it has to be here. But Feldar Guardian. I can't see, so I apologize. Okay. Here's the combo. This is how the combo used to work. This is insane. Both from Kaladesh and Ether Revolt. Okay. Enters the battlefield. It's see, it's even marked already. Okay, so you get a 3 loyalty planeswalker, right? Let's say you already have. Let's say you just played Full Dark Garden. Now what it says is excel something else, any permanent, it's fucking stupid, any permanent you control, and you pretty much enters the battlefield again. It's flicker effect, but it's any permanent. So the thing is, you would choose Sahila Rai. It comes back, it has 3 loyalty. Then you will -2 and exile Father Guardian. You create a copy of Father Guardian, and that copy, when it enters the battle, it has a triggered ability, not activated, triggered ability, and says you exile something else. Again, you would choose Sahili Rai again. You kept doing that forever. Okay, what's the deal? The deal is you can exile Sahili Rai and put a bunch of 1/3, 1/4 Felder Guardians with haste. Someone's gonna break the mirror. A bunch of Felder Guardians and tokens, and they all got haste. You only need to proc the triggered ability once. You kept doing that, and bam, they're banned in standard. In modern, I don't play modern because in the first two turns you just lose. They have to ban a lot of cards. I wish they would do that. But yeah, it's like -2, bam, choose this guy, comes back, bam, this guy comes back. God, we were playing Magic for like 4 months until these two got banned. Torturous. There's no other word. Alright. Enter surveillance dice. Irrelevant. We can exile now. I think this is the one. Pay to life, surveil 2. See? This is the one I'm saying. Oh my god. Pay to life, surveil 2, right? Okay. You got this on the battlefield, or you just played it. You can surveil 2, pay to life, surveil 2, and then you get to choose. But there's a 2-2. Should be here. Guess on the other one. There's a 2-2 that says every time you surveil, you gain 1 life and put a counter and draw a card. It's black. No. It's freaking insane, this combo. I would just buy the whole set before they ban them and then sell them because they're gonna ban them. It's gonna happen. This cards I like it a lot for Gotha. No. It's black at do. Where are you, baby? Gates. No. I mean that if they really, contracted people to test these combos, it took me like 3 minutes to see the combo. So where are you? It's a creature. It's not coming out. I think if you just remove that tutor, you avoid the combo. Maybe you just have to ban that guy. And you got the huge flying dude. That's rails. Where are you, baby? This card's real good. I'm looking for. It's not here. I think they just removed it. Let's go to first. I don't see it. It was a black tutu, right? And then every time you survey, no, not that one. I think they just removed it. That's freaking insane. No, it's a creature. It's a 2/2 creature. What I saw. Hell, even in modern. Either way, it's like I draw 18 cards. I heal 9 life. I still get to draw all those cards. And I activate the card from Minister. Is it this one? No. No. Hell, I can't even discard a bunch of cards. That freaking dragon's gonna go up. It's this one. Nightmare Demon. It's gonna go up. It's not a maybe. That's a 6/6 flyer. I mean, I don't like black, but I would just buy it just to sell it because it's gonna go up. Find that there's no. Where the hell they put it? Maybe they took it out. They're not gonna release it. I hope so. But it was a teacher that said every time you surveil, you put a counter on it, and then you heal 1 life and draw a card. So technically, you would just with that flyer demon, you would just Uh, I think they removed them. It was a tutu that said every time you surveil, you gain 1 life for the counter. It was a 1-1, I think it was a 1-1. You surveil, put a counter on it, and then draw a card. So it's like, okay, I pay all that life. Let's say I just play 10 life, alright? I'm gonna heal 5. I pay 10 life, heal 5, draw 5 cards, and then you're probably dead. And with the 3 million cards I've seen, yeah, I think they just removed it. It's black. Energy battlefield, surveil 2, surveil 1. Hoping. 3 mana. Maybe they just removed it. That's why you can no longer see it. Because it wouldn't make sense to me. Because I saw the card. I mean, surveil, I'm not making it up. I didn't even knew it was a mechanic. Green black. Green black. Oh. Let's see. Blue. Instant. Draw a card. Cast instant sorcery. Put a 1-1 flyer. No. No, it's not there. No, they removed it. Thank God. Well, but that card was pretty insane. It was like, okay, you got the demon, you had that card, it was a 1-1. Put a counter on the card, heal 1, and draw a card. But with that stupid Surveil 2 card, it's like, it's okay, I get to pretty much scry 2 and and draw a card. Put a counter, no, even more. Hold on, it was Surveil 2. Okay, I paid 2 life and Surveil 2. Trigger. That will be put a counter on it, heal 1 life, draw a card, then you surveil, and you got to choose. That's it. You already got 7 mana at least. And with that sorcerer you can rest. I don't think it's there. I think they removed it because I saw the card and it was really, really broken. I'm like, somebody should be fired for this. Yeah, I think they removed it. Thank God. Either way, it was good because it said like, okay, the combo was like too obvious. What's this? Brown Naked Preview.
What's up, my wizards? It's Dev from SBMTG. We like Magic, and we got some weekend GRN spoilers to go over here. And there's really not too much in the basket today, but I at least want to go over what we did see over the weekend, because come Monday morning, tomorrow, there's going to be a whole batch of brand new spoilers, and I want to spend as much time on those as I possibly can. That said, there was some interesting stuff from the weekend, so let's go ahead and buckle in here. But remember to like the video if you got the time, subscribe if you haven't done it yet, hit the bell for the notifications, because again, all next week we're finishing this set off, and that means spoilers pretty much every day. You won't want to miss those. So go ahead and sub if you haven't done it. Let's talk about these cards. Let's check out Siege Worm first. This is a reprint. It's 7 mana, 5 and 2 green for a 5/5 with Convoke and Trample. And the good news is they fixed the art too. It's now 80% less phallic, so that's nice. I would imagine that was a specific artist note this time around. Like, can you make it less phallic? They pulled that off. This really doesn't look like much, and I normally wouldn't even bring a card like this up, but it's such a ridiculous bomb. History has proven it so. In draft and
It's
other limited
just a
formats
5/5
like sealed,
so
that you're probably going to
gotta
play
go
this if you're in
with
green or
like
the
six
Selesnya deck
principles. Yeah, that's
pretty much every time that you get it, because this is a great common level finisher for the Selesnya limited deck. So I just wanted to point out how
yeah,
good this
and
card
then
actually
that's it.
turn. So there are a lot of cool applications for this card, even though
That
it's a
creatures
whole
you control
5
during
mana.
the
5 mana is probably way
oh,
too much
hexproof,
for just
not
about any deck
vigilance.
to really want to play.
Indestructible.
But if you just convoked a couple of things into play and like tapped all your guys, and obviously this spell is very good, you know. So I like that about it. Hexproof and Indestructible makes it a good instant
Okay,
speed
what
answer to
does FME
sweepers and
mean?
stuff like that. So
Instant
maybe against Cleansing Nova,
or
you know, if you're on the
enchantment? It
play and
has
you
to
have the
be
5 mana
instant.
already. This is fine,
Otherwise, this card wouldn't
but I
make
really
sense.
think 5 mana is just too much for what is effectively a heroic intervention, all things considered. You know, we were just paying 2 mana for this effect, and it only saw like 2
Combat
of
stat,
sideboard
which-
play.
that's
Heroic intervention
one
was a
of
very
the-
important
the
card,
other
yeah.
one in the
But this, I'm not thinking will be, despite like the really, really good text on the card. If it does see play, then a lot of it might be for the untap all the creatures you control bit. You know, that's actually, you know, that may have applications and combos and stuff like that. But there's an incidental mode where it can also protect all your guys. So the card isn't actually that bad, but for 5 mana, it just seems a little bit too steep for me. But let's check out Assurance and Association. Ass to ass. I can't believe they did that. They knew people would call it that. But anyway, the Assurance half is an instant. Both halves are. And you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. But the Association half is 6 mana, but again, it's an instant. And you can create 3 2/2 white and green Elf Knight creature tokens with Vigilance. Well, Blossoming Defense, this is not. This is... a lot of people were scared when they saw that 5 mana card. That was going to be the replacement for Blossoming Defense and Heroic Intervention.
Yeah.
But this looks a lot better for doing that, although still not as good at all. You know, it costs twice the mana, only gives the creature +1/+1 in the form of a counter, which is good. But it's not +2/+2, you know, and it's not hexproof, so it doesn't actually counter, you know, exile removal spells, which is one of the best things about Blossoming Defense. But this will still, you know, effectively counter a lightning strike or anything like that. While the strike is on the stack. So it's still good most of the time for what you're trying to use it for. Although I'm not sure that Sheltering Light is not actually the better card here, and it didn't see any play. But it might end up being the replacement for Blossoming Defense. It only costs 1 mana, indestructible, you get the Scry, all that's actually not a bad card, all things considered. I think especially for the rate, it's probably a better card than using the first half of this to protect your dudes. Although I do like the second half of this card, which I haven't really seen too many people talk about. But you know, 6 mana is a lot. That's why no one's talking about it, because 6 mana is so much. But 3 guys at all. I like both halves on. Actually, already have slightly overcost. Play it in limited, but you do have to make sure that your deck is
okay. When this card deals damage to target creature equal to the number of instants resources you own in exile or in your graveyard, jumpstart. Way more. This is probably a fucking 2/2 or a 2/3 or a 3/3. Can't be a 4/4 because everybody would be talking about this card.
constructed with a bunch of instant and sorceries. You know, way more than you would normally play. I mean, I'm talking about like 12 or 15 instants and sorceries. For this to actually fire off the way I want it to, you know, I want this to hit for 3 or 4 damage. And in limited, it seems like it's going to be a good long time into the game before you actually get to deal 3 or 4 damage with this. But even if you can just some of the time, very, very late. Imagine if it said creature. Said a removal piece you can use twice in limited is just really good. Like that's fairly good. So if you're drafting up the Is It Spells deck or something, and cast that card.
When Thief does combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of that player's library. Okay, the player you gave damage to, exile 1, and put the rest into that player's graveyard. You may look at to do it again. So this is like hostage taker, except It's only 3 cards, so you can bump it to a billion, and it's very situational. But I like this card, but not for playing because it's too unreliable. It's just like Hostage Taker. Hostage Taker was at least 4 mana. Um, but you didn't have to deal combat damage. So this could just get into the battlefield. Let's say I don't remove. Let's say I just draw, play my land, play something else. Just leave one mountain open for shock, and say go. I mean, okay, either way I win. If I shock it, you can counter. Yes, you can. Or I just kill your guy, and you wasted your last turn. That's not good.
For as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. Okay, so it's a bad replacement for Gonti, is what this looks like to me, you know. In Limited, I really like this card too.
Why Gandhi? Oh, so the card's even worse. Hold on. It's a flat, too. So, target for all my commons. For my set deck, pretty much I got like 8 cards that just remove flyers. When Thief does common damage to a player, when it happens, look at the top 3 cards of that player's living short, exile 1, put the rest into that player's graveyard. Okay. You may look at, this card would have been, it is awful. If the 2/2 is out there and it's gonna get printed again, this will nullify this card because it's like, okay, exile 1 card I have, and then you're gonna help me. You're gonna help me with all my strategies. It's not gonna be surveil, but blue black is like reanimator combo. Exile 1 and put the rest. I don't know what this is. It's a dot to the player's graveyard dot. Okay, not common. You may look at and cast an exile card. I assume it's 10, and you may use mana to of any card to this. So pretty much is okay. I'm gonna skip my turn. This card's so bad. I'm gonna skip my turn and then play your card, but at the cost of skipping my turn to play whatever the hell I exile. So this card in effect makes Convoke useless. So I mean the worm will be, let's see, 6, 7, 8. Let's say you got 2 creatures and you just play that. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So by turn 5 you can play the worm with this. You can go attack, remove the worm, put a land, pay 5 mana, and tap the other one. Oh no, that's 6. That's 6 mana. I don't like it. It's not reliable either way.
I think we saw a lot of limited playables this weekend. If you haven't
If it's
sort of noticed the trend of constructed magic, and even worth of damage with this thing, a sub. So this, in which case, rules at Legion War Boss. Then the
okay, how is this good? It's a 1/1. It's good for goblins. It's good for goblins, but they're not gonna be a thing. I mean, goblin says turn it into a 3/1 or just steal a shot.
Mentor triggers chain. Well, that does not happen actually.
Kidding.
Mentor gets Lich's Mastery or just misread.
So, oh my god. So with this one, it's even worse. I forgot why I saw the 2/2, but it's insane. That will be, I think the tattoo is still out there and going to get printed either way. So you can pay to life, surveil too. You can't lose the game. Whenever you lose life, for each one life you lost, exile a permanent you control, or a card from your hand or graveyard. Hmm. And leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. And then it's the battlefield, you can't lose the game.
The text box on it. But basically, my thought was that with both of these cards out, you could just pay whatever life you wanted to and just keep removing cards from your graveyard. I misremembered the wording on Lich's Mastery, thinking that you wouldn't actually lose the life in any way. You would just stay at whatever life total you were at while removing cards from your graveyard. That is apparently not true, and you can't pay life you don't have, but this is still a good interaction, and you can mill a bunch of cards and create the perfect graveyard. With your Doom Whisperer and your Lich's Mastery. But honestly, I think Doom Whisperer is just going to be good enough on its own. It's not going to need like a crazy card to interact with. It's good. And the last thing I can think of, at least, I'm sure that people will hit me in the comment section if I don't get all of them, but I think that the last one I can remember off the top of my head is Lava Coil. I was talking about Lava Coil. And I was like, man, we could have used this against Hazoret. No, we couldn't have. I've made this mistake before, actually, and I don't know why. I'm so weird about making this mistake, but if you use Lava Coil on an indestructible creature, it won't hit, basically. It wouldn't die. Notice that the wording on Lava Coil is if it would die this turn, exile it instead. Well, it wouldn't die because it's indestructible. So, I think I made that mistake with Puncturing Blow in Hazoret before. So, yeah, don't. As far as that goes, apparently I'm a dum-dum when it comes to like indestructible rules. But no, Lava Coil would not have worked on a Hazoret because it wouldn't have killed it in the first place. But anyway, pretty sure this set up to this point, which
so
means
far
that
it's the mirror combo and goblins that can be destroyed. That's pretty much all I saw. The time is at 9 o'clock. Alright, let's play some MTG. Play one down, play Minecraft. If it's possible.
Well, you were game. Your wife got fucked, right? I'll keep this in. Spotify, there we go. I should look at guy. There's gotta be one asshole like me. Oh, yeah. Or just, what's this?
You know, in the old days, they couldn't say the shit they wanted to say. They had the fake orgasms and and shit, we can tell niggas today, hey, I wanna come, motherfucker.
You're such a fucking hoe, I love it. You're such a fucking hoe, I love it. You're such a fucking hoe, I love it. Your boyfriend is a dork, make loving. I just pulled up in the ghost, fucked that bitch up out in London. Then I fucked up on a cousin. Me. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Well, I'm not okay. I'm not fucking okay. I'm not When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons, and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade. When I was beyond my father took me you die to get in again. We are so far from you. Burning on, just like a matches, trying to incinerate the lives of everyone you know. And what's the worst to take from every heart you break? And like the blade you stain, well, I've been holding on tonight. What's the worst that I could say? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. Came a time when every star fall brought to the tears again. We are the very hurt you sold. And what's the worst you take from every heart you break? And like the blade you stain, well, I've been holding on tonight. What's the worst that I can say? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. Well, if you carry on this way, things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. What's the worst that I can say? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. Well, if you carry on this way, things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night. They're gonna clean up your looks with all the lies in the books to make a citizen out of you. Because they sleep with a gun and keep an eye on you, son, so they can watch all the things you do. Because the drugs never work, they gonna give you a smirk, cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the murder machine. They said I'll teenagers scare the living shit out of me. They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe it'll leave you alone, but not me. The boys and girls in the clique, the awful names that the stick. You're never gonna fit in much, kid. But if you're troubled and hurt, what you got under your shirt will make them pay for the things that they did. They said, "I'll teenagers scare the living shit out of me." They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe it'll leave you alone, but not me. Oh, yeah. try to stay. And maybe when you get back, I'll be off to find another.
That's true. Open house is next week. The open house is coming. Hey,
When
you know somebody wants to get the magic now. It's time to do something.
you still
Coming up.
good for nothing, I don't know. So take your gloves and get out
Nice little ant trail going up along. Get out of here.
while you
I
can.
don't know about that. Apparently those ants weigh so little that they can fall from like a crazy amount of distance and go down. Enjoy the trip.
This guy is awesome.
What up,
How you
KADAMASOUL?
doing? What's up?
They are indeed magic novels behind me. We've got Darksteel Eye, Legion, Scourge, The Cursed Land, and Final Sacrifice.
You know what? I should do that. Orange Starns. That's what. I should put a video like you do. Picture, I mean. You know what? I'll do it.
Outdoorsman, those are some reasonable prices, my man.
I love this card. I got 3. I should sell them.
Oh, Zos. A swing and a miss. You screwed that up so badly, no one's even going to know what you mean, dude. Joke a fail. Stan Geef, you missed those books. You're probably the only one.
So
You're not the only one. I want to get them all.
Play that, and I got the
I'm
playmat.
rereading
It's
through them.
Awesome.
For lore and such. What up, Jeff? Hello, Taylor.
Let's go with this stuff. All right. Got the Merkaba there. Yeah. So fucking awesome. Love it.
Looks like you got some overlap with what I got there, Method.
Let me just show it to you guys real quick.
There's a fair number of the novels out there. They're going to be dipping their toes back into those waters. We'll see how well they do, though.
Oh, bam! Hadouken! $40, but worth it.
Yeah, you want to know what should go in an entry-level
Oh,
deck?
okay,
Go ahead
okay.
and look at
It's fucking
the
awesome.
the stuff they're making for
I love
Core
this stuff.
2019. It's a pretty good offering.
$40 Carnage Card. I'm sorry, I thought you had removal. Well, fuck your mouth. It's got trim.
Zos, there might be some tucked-away references that aren't coming to my mind right now. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's like that one shocker style creature from Time Spiral block that talks about shamans using like the poison from them to go into a trance. So, you know, you got your LSD-ish kind of thing going on there.
Okay. I think it was. Did you remove it? 18 hours ago. Okay, in this spring.
I will give it a try. It seems like you like it.
Talk how to cure cancer. This one. 18 hours ago. No use. But yeah, cancer's retardedly easy. to cure, so. Got my earphone. Didn't hear the sound.
Yeah, Jeff, there's a fair number of them out there, man.
Oh my god, did the fucking government deleted my videos?
I also have a couple of the magazines as well now.
I
Slowly
heard
going to build
them
that collection. In fact, there is one on the way to me in the mail that I should get soon, so that's exciting.
deleted.
It's fun to go over all that old stuff.
Government deleted? I mean, no way. Yeah, and they seem to have deleted my bias too. guys are seeing this live, right? So, wow, start.
Hey, Andrew. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, my man. I don't know exactly all the different comic books they made. I have some comic books, but I don't know very many of them because I never really got into them. Well, the Rickest, thanks for enjoying what I do and support. Have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what type of evil fucking being. You're gonna lose.
What up, MTG player?
Saying all I want to do is heal from my MS. Neuro teleporto. I don't care about that. I just want to heal my MS. Regeneration journal. Lusty. Hey. Spell darkness. No. No. I'm looking for DNA.
Legends had a comic book series that followed the adventure of Dakin and a few other characters. Right on. I don't know which comic books I have. I have them in a stack over at the shop. Did you ever get resins on your cards? I got resin on my gigantic Library of Alexandria.
What the fuck?
What's more believable, Earth is flat or Earth is simulated simulation, of course. I mean, they've demonstrated the Earth is clearly not flat,
It's flat, dude. It's real and shit.
right?
All
And
right.
like,
I don't get that. Well, might as well enjoy it while you can, because these fucking retards keep getting into my computer and deleting my shit. Good thing I'm doing this live stream, so I'm not alone. People can see this. It doesn't matter. The future will see. Okay. Now. Good luck, Evoker. shit like a boss missive files. Go back over. And we're about balance and clarity. Turn Ooh. He's a vampire, isn't he? Oh, this is a 4-3. I thought it was a 4-1. Shit. Yeah, let's go. Life. I can't fucking sing, so... Welcome to life. It's nothing but stress. It's a 4-3, not a 4-1. Imposter, no. Oh, that's a good one. They should do that too. That's 7 damage. Hadouken! Oh, I can do a slug whip too. 2-1. Oh, I can't block, yeah. Really? Line card? That's it. Of course. Of course. Um. Really? I lost. Okay, 3 more. Nothing I can do. That was insane. Let's try it right back. Alright. cards. I really hate it. Unfair. Turns. No, wait, let's. I forgot the card. Enchantment's fuck. I forgot. He's gonna mill like 4 cards. Let's see. 2. Wow, what a miracle. Gonna cry. He's playing like a madness. He just, as you can see, he just mailed me 8 cards. But that's okay because it's magic. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, how many cards are you gonna mail now? 4. No, 2. Oh, thank God. Oh, either way, I'm kind of screwed. Jump hard, discard a card. 2. Damn, well, I thought it worked. Oh man. Come on. One fucking enchantment, my card. Broken. I had this card, but I fucking kept it. It's just not way destroyed. Languish. Got them ready. Everybody's just playing that stupid enchantment, it's bugged. Let's go with this. No. Okay. Let's go with Magic Arena. Jesus. Join the close better. No, I'm already joined. Download now. Brain booster. DNA sweet spin. Luck Volker. Regress H. Let's do that. It's a good techno music. Alright, next. Create a step shortcut. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Alright. Life ain't easy. Alright. Let's keep hearing Regress H. Yeah, why not? The younger the better. It's a baby, like, fuck that shit. Oof. Oh man.
If you think he's demonic now, right, because of what we've learned about him, I pointed out that House of Cards was one of the most brilliant exposés against the cabal on television.
That's right.
House of
we
Cards
talked about
included,
it. We talked about it on this show.
That's right, man. House of Cards exposed Bohemian Grove, for God's sake.
Right.
You have Kevin Spacey in a robe
Right.
saying some of the world's most powerful people gather in this place. You know, and then what's even funnier is that they called it Elysian Fields, and then very recently, one of the largest pedophile rings in the world was broken up, which was called Elysium. Okay?
Yep. And you
So
know,
if you can't handle,
well,
if you can't handle forgiving Kevin Spacey, or even being able to see that the reason why he might have gotten outed first was that he did that exposure Bohemian Grove,
right.
then we have a problem. And the problem is that the people who are turning against the cabal now were in it before. Just like in the early 1800s, around the 1824, 1830, around that window, we had a massive revolt against the Freemasonic Society in America that led to it being completely wiped out in North America, in the northern states rather, and in the southern states, all but a few lodges remained. The reason why being that there was a man named William Morgan who had published all of the secret codes of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry, and then they killed him by tying a bunch of rocks onto ropes, and the rocks were heavier than his body, and they dumped him over the side of a rowboat in the Niagara River. So, you know, and he pleaded for his life, and he had a wife and kids, and they killed him anyway. But then the people who did it felt bad, and it all got exposed, and it actually led to a party that was called the Anti-Masonic Party. They published all of the...
I just read a lot of that's a brighter...
secret codes of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry, and then they killed him by tying a bunch of rocks onto ropes, and the rocks were heavier than his body, and they dumped him over the side of a rowboat in the Niagara River. So, you know, and he pleaded for his life, and he had a wife and kids, and they killed him anyway. But then the people who did it felt bad, and it all got exposed, and it actually led to a party that was called the Anti-Masonic Party. They won a couple governorships, they won some Senate seats, and then they became known as the Whig Party, which is where most people have probably heard of it. That whole anti-Masonic revolt led to some really, really stunning stuff. There was a book by David Bernard called Light on Masonry, and that book, you can still get it. It actually exposes all 32. They didn't get up to 33 very much, but everything from first degree through 32nd degree Freemasonry, all the codes, all the initiations, all the stuff these guys do. It's all in that one book. They had congressional hearings. They had hearings in the state government offices of New York State. New York State was a big deal back then because this is early 1800s. New York was like the biggest state in America at the time. So my point in saying all this is that what we saw in the anti-Masonic revolt of the late 1820s was people who had been in this organization, who had done things that were heinous because they were forced to, because they were part of a cult. They were part of a sinister group that forces all of its members into what they call common criminality, right? Which means nobody can ever talk because they can pin all this stuff on you. Nonetheless, if you actually read David Bernard's book, Light on Masonry, what we see in that book and others like it is that people who were buried in this stuff up to their eyeballs came forward and revealed information that led to this thing being shut down for its time. And they were not treated as criminals. They were given amnesty, and they were treated as heroes because on their own conscience they decided to do something different. They're not going to play the game anymore. So the problem we're going to have is, and I'm not just speaking about Trump, I'm speaking about anybody. Everybody's dirty. Everybody's got dirt that, if exposed, is going to make them look bad. And so what we're really going to have to do here is we're going to have to say, yes, these people are heroes because they're fighting against a greater evil, and the things they did were things that they did through coercion. And in fact, that actually could exonerate a lot of people in the cabal, because even folks like senators and congressmen, one of the most outrageous briefings I got from Pete Peterson was when he told me that you have mercenaries hired by the cabal capturing senators out of their homes in the middle of the night, throwing black bags over their head with twist ties on them, twisting it up, throwing them into the back of a van, so they're sliding around and they're doing screeching turns, so these guys are slamming up against, they're getting head injuries, they're getting all kinds of bodily injuries as the van is going around.
Right.
They bring all these senators out into an area. They take the bags off of their heads, and they got a big log chipper there. And some of the aides of these congressmen had been exposing the cabal online, and they literally threw these guys into the chipper shredder.
Oh.
And they had the option, quote unquote, of, well, you can go in yourself or we're going to throw you in. Of course, nobody did that. They all were thrown in. But so imagine, when we find out that the majority of, I don't know how many it's going to be. I don't know how many they've agreed on revealing, but let's just say a majority of senators and congressmen are members of NAMBLA, which is North American Man-Boy Love Association, a pedophile organization network that trades photographs, video, and also, the act.
Cocaine, right? Or baking soda. Yeah, baking soda. Not cocaine, baking soda. Yeah, it sounds prettier. Really sad. All this information, dreams, are short-lived. Really,
actual trafficking of humans. You got to think a little deeper than this, because some of the insiders I've spoken to have said, if you want to play in the political game at all, if you want to even run in an election at all, you are required to have sex with children, even if it disgusts you and you don't want anything to do with it. That's the kind of compromise you have to make. They force you to do it. You don't have a choice. And in some cases, people wake up intoxicated, not even realizing what's going to be happening to them as they wake up. So how do you defeat a group that automatically makes everyone who's ever been involved a criminal? And a criminal of such a heinous extreme that if that was exposed, they lose all credibility with the public. That's the challenge that we have, and that's why I believe I've been getting for years now in predominantly there's a real resistance here, and if somebody has been involved in this kind of heinous stuff and they decide to turn over a new leaf and become a new person and become a hero, we have to be willing to let them do that.
Yeah.
Corey Good has admitted to having done some very unsavory things during his service. It's part of what anybody in those things has to do. But now, for the most part, I mean, there's certainly some people who dislike Corey online, but for the most part, he still has a great deal of public support and goodwill, and I still am very much in support of him, and his intel has been invaluable, and everybody, for the most part, except
if it's about the
well, if you eat too much of the wrong stuff, you get calcification inside your pineal gland. Those little crystals in the water get bound up by minerals, and they get locked up and stuck. And then the less water is in your pineal gland, the less access you have to your astral body. And in turn, if you get completely calcified, you go crazy. You get schizophrenia. You get multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease. You will die if your pineal gland gets fully calcified. So a lot of people are running on very little water in the pineal gland. Well, this brings us to Weston Price, who showed that indigenous cultures had certain compounds in their food that prevented pineal calcification. And we can use those foods today. These compounds he called Activator X. Among other things, all these ancient skulls that he found had no cavities. They had perfect teeth, perfect dental arches, no cavities. And he went around to all these indigenous people in the 1930s in various places, and on the average, he only found one cavity per 1,000 teeth. They don't brush their teeth. All they're doing is they're eating traditional, natural food. This is what happens, except on the top right, she's eating indigenous food. On the other teeth there, that's what happens as soon as you give them the Western diet. So here's a Maori skull, again, ancient times, they have no cavities. Their teeth are flawless. This is a very highly suppressed piece of information. Dr. Pete Peterson is the one who turned us onto this in his video.
I can tell you that the main thing that halides, which are chlorine, fluorine, bromine, mainly what they do in the body is congeal cholesterol into arterial plaque. I mean, that's well known.
Slows down the art.
I have, no, yes, it'll do, yeah, it closes down.
How MS, ALS, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's work. Cool.
The arteries. So there are many ways to sterilize water other than chlorine and fluorine. There are many ways. For example, we say, well, we use chlorine for tooth decay. You have a whole fleet of boats up and down the west coast of the United States and the east coast of the United States that can't fish anymore because we've killed all the fish, except there are bottom feeders. 60% of the weight of the fish is liver, and about 60% of the liver is that particular fish liver oil, which contains a compound called Activator X by Price of the Price Pottinger Foundation of years ago fame. And he found out right after World War II that one drop of that, well, you can take that fish oil, which is highly fishy tasting, get it cold, the waxes and false isomers will solidify, you can filter those out, and the oil left over has very little or no taste to it, and that oil you can put in the sunlight and it won't turn rancid for hundreds of years. It should have been used in place of sperm whale oil for lubricating watches, but they didn't use it for that. And,
so is it this cod liver oil?
No, it's not cod liver oil. It's a different oil, but those boats could go out and bring back boatloads of this fish. It grows from Antarctica to Arctica and everywhere in between. That oil, one drop put in a slice of bread eaten daily, and you have no caries whatsoever. There's no tooth decay. It eliminates tooth decay.
So,
and they did this on thousands and hundreds of thousands of children in Europe after World War II.
And likewise, it doesn't. You can guard against hardening of the arteries.
Then you don't get the hardening of the arteries from the fluoride or the chloride. Because they could have gotten rid of tooth decay with an absolutely benign substance that we had a whole industry here that could go out and bring us back all we could ever use for the whole world, very inexpensively, and totally non-negatively in the body. But we didn't do that. Now, it's the reason that fish oil doesn't turn rancid is obviously because it's an antioxidant. It's the best antioxidant known to man, as far as I know. Price called it Activator X. It has a definite chemical formula. It could definitely be put out there. But it'd eliminate most of heart surgery. It would eliminate tooth decay. So it's not put out there because that isn't efficient in our system, in our capitalistic system.
Well, you're talking worldwide, though, as well, right?
Yeah, it'd be worldwide. I mean, like I say, we did it in Europe after World War II for years. But we took that activator, by the way, was taken. There's a small amount of it in wheat germ oil. So that was taken from wheat and price, yeah.
Okay.
Saying about the pineal gland, because I have a whole long section in my video that everybody's seen, most of this audience has seen it, all about the pineal gland. So you're saying that this oil, if taken, would help to decalcify the pineal gland or somehow increase its sensitivity?
If the pineal gland is calcified by halides, yes it would.
Okay. And Weston Price found that there were certain compounds that actually were in these traditional foods that would stop that from happening. You stop getting heart disease, you stop getting strokes, you stop getting dental decay, and it decalcifies your pineal gland. He called this compound Activator X. And on the video, he said that Weston Price found one type of Activator X that was much more powerful than all the others, because some of them include, for example, organic freshly grown eggs, organic butter oil from cows that eat fresh, fast-growing grass, fermented cod liver oil. The fermentation is very important because of the probiotics in there. But what Peterson said is that the U.S. government suppressed the knowledge of fermented ratfish liver oil because if people started taking that, so he said, and again, I'm not making any claims, FDA, but let's just say for experimental purposes, Weston Price did this research and found that fermented ratfish liver oil, which the ratfish is also called the skate, it's basically the exact same fish, fermented skate liver oil, it sounds better than ratfish. It's like, oh, you want me to eat a ratfish, dude? Come on. The fermented skate liver oil actually decalcifies your pineal gland so well and heals you so well, the U.S. government, according to Peterson, classified this knowledge and has suppressed it because they were worried that it would bankrupt Social Security. I shit you not. That's the kind of Machiavellian thinking that's going on the inside. It would bankrupt Social Security. So you can change your reality by changing your diet. So, because people have asked me this so many times, I actually have 2 months supply of fermented skate liver oil here because people ask me to sell this stuff. I talk about this and they say, you don't have any? I didn't think of it. So these are available at my product table right out there, $40 a bottle. There's 120 capsules in here, so you take 2 a day. It lasts you 2 months. That's $20 a month. And this is a psychic supplement.
Fucked up, man.
Pineal gland has been explained through conventional methods, conventional means, to some degree. They have figured out what it does by looking at how when light strikes your retina, there's a little nerve system here called the preganglion sympathetic neurons, and they move through, and the light transitions itself into your pineal gland, okay? When the light goes off, it signals electromagnetically to the pineal gland that it's time to go to sleep, which then secretes melatonin into your cerebrospinal fluid, which activates the whole brain's sleep mechanism, the whole nervous system, okay? So the pineal gland is very much associated with going to sleep. Well, that makes sense because when you go into a mystical state of consciousness, typically you have to go into a very meditative, very zoned out, very relaxed Zen type of consciousness. That's not an accident. So again, if therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. So when you cut off the light on the outside, the light opens up on the inside. That's the melatonin mechanism. Well, the pineal gland is activated when light goes out. Jesus also said the people who sat in darkness saw a great light, Matthew 4:16. Again, the idea that it's only when the light goes out and you can activate your pineal gland that you have the full access to this knowledge. So the pineal gland also secretes another chemical. This is more recent research called dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. It's becoming increasingly popular in the New Age circuit now that people are taking these South American potions like yopo and ayahuasca, which is the one you're probably more familiar with. The actual dictionary definition of what DMT does is that it includes profound time dilation, time travel. This is when you're accessing the time field, right? Time is three-dimensional. It's no longer linear. You can shift time. Journeys to paranormal realms. That's like those fairy circles, the gnome circles, right? And encounters with spiritual beings or other mystical transdimensional modalities. All right, so there's the shape of it once again. Now, what's the big secret? The interior is filled with water. How does that seem like a big secret? Who cares? Why would it matter that there's water inside the pineal gland? Well, those of you who were here yesterday know the answer. The interior of the pineal gland, the water flips in and out through time-space. We'll get to that in a second. The problem that most people are having is that the water calcifies as you age. In fact, that's how they're able to figure out if your brain has a tumor when you're getting an MRI. Most people have this chunk of calcium in the center of their brain which looks white on the MRI or on an X-ray. And if that little guy is off to one side, why is that? Think about it. Because what? Tumor is pushing on the brain and it knocks it off of alignment. So our pineal gland is actually supposed to be used for transdimensional access, but instead what's happening is that we're calcifying it by our diet, by the use of fluoride in our toothpaste, fluoride in our water, by drinking too much soda, carbonated beverages, too much refined fats, refined sugars, refined flours, white flour. Anything in moderation is okay. I'm not saying you got to go on a totally Spartan crazy diet. But this calcification is also what the Bible calls the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is on the forehead, right? Does everybody remember that from the Bible? And what was it supposed to mean? It's supposed to mean that you're captured in the grip of materialism. Well, that means that you don't have your spiritual access open. That's the symbolism. The symbolism is when you look at the chakras, you actually see a dark spot up here. So that's where that comes from. Now this is where it starts getting very, very strange. Okay? If you haven't already been blown away, this is where it should start to change your consciousness. The interior of the pineal gland, all along the inside, has rods and cones just like the retina on your eye. Do you think that maybe when they called it a third eye, that they knew what they were talking about? Do you think that an eye must have a cornea and a lens and all this vitreous fluid in it like we have? The fluid is there, but you just got the retina. So there's something that appears to be happening inside. It's like there's a little television in here. And you can actually get audio out of it, and you can get video out of it, and that video feed is being picked up by the rods and cones, and that's your imagination. That's the mind's eye. You actually have a retina. Have you noticed that when you visualize something strongly enough, that you really do see it? You can close your eyes, but you're still seeing things. This is where it's coming from. Now, some of it obviously can happen in the mind. I'm not saying that everything that you think is showing up inside this little gland here. But what I am saying is that a lot of your contact with the other side, when you're traveling through time or when you're having a dream, the interface between your dreaming body, the silver cord, as it's called, the silver cord is anchored right here. That's where it comes from. That's why when people have an out-of-body experience, they hear a loud cracking noise, and then they fly out of body. The crack comes from right in here. So, the answer to why this works is that there is an electromagnetic shield that is created when the light goes out. It may be stimulated by the release of the DMT, but these two little arteries here, they don't look like much, but it's a known fact that the pineal gland has more blood flow per cubic volume than any other gland in the body. This gland has the most high amount of concentration of energy from your body of anything else. And that's because it's our gateway. So if you can start to imagine the idea that there's this complex electromagnetic shield that starts forming like this, and you see all these weird rotations happening around it, and they're all going in these different directions, what that actually, and it becomes so fast, it's like, you know, if you move it fast enough, which I'm not really capable of doing, it would just start to be all red. You get a perfectly formulated shield around the gland. When you do that, you have now shielded off all of the electromagnetic, gravitational, and otherwise, well, not gravitational, but all the electromagnetic, the radio waves, all the energy that gives us a reference in space-time. That opens up the door to time-space, just like when you shoot that little carbon-60 molecule, the little buckyball, at the slit, and it pops inside out and it turns into a wave as it goes through. Well, there are little molecules inside this water called microclusters. And those molecules can flip over, and that's the gateway that allows you to see into time-space. So darkness activates electromagnetic activity. It feels like a pressure, a buzz, or a tone or acceleration inside your head. Has anybody here not had that experience? Okay, no hands have gone up. When you'll hear sometimes it's almost like there's a gong, or you feel like a pressure in your head. That's now some people just call that Kundalini activation. But what's actually happening is that sometimes spontaneously, even during the day, your pineal gland just kicks up. It's like a car engine, and it suddenly gets going, and you feel this sort of explosive energy shooting up into your head. This is actually this mechanism, this machinery of electromagnetic charge, zooming around, doing all these different things to shield off the water inside to give you access. So if that ever happens, if you get that tone in your ears, just try to tune into the meditative state and get really clear and figure out what's the message of that moment. A lot of times it'll be that whatever happened right before you get the tone is something really important for your spiritual evolution. So you want... It can. Headaches can happen, but that's when there's a blockage. That's when there's something in yourself that's not allowing this to fully open. And that, at that level, deals with not being able to see yourself as a sacred being, seeing yourself as unholy, seeing yourself as impure. So it really does boil down to self-acceptance. When you're fully aware and self-accepting, you can fully open your pineal gland. And that requires a great deal of work, which is what we're getting into later in this talk. So the water becomes your conduit to time-space, the parallel reality, and then your interior retina in your third eye, because you actually do have three, records the visual images. That's what all the ancient cultures painted the bindi on their forehead for. DMT seems to accelerate the activity. LSD and other psychedelics force the pineal to release DMT. It's potentially dangerous, so I'm not recommending you go out and start tripping because your pineal can get stuck on even when you're awake. And that's the actual nature of schizophrenia, delusions, and waking hallucinations. There have been multiple studies that have been done proving that shamanic visionary experiences and schizophrenic hallucinatory experiences are almost identical. What the ancient shamans have happen to them is just about the same as what happens to schizos. It's just that the schizo is cracked. The walnut is cracked, as I call it, or the acorn, or the pine cone, right? If you have some of that electrical activity that doesn't know when to shut off, which could be also the melatonin, right? When the melatonin kicks out, it's telling you to go to sleep. That's what starts to fire up this engine. It's only when the DMT kicks out a little bit that the engine goes into full steam. But that's usually only after you fall asleep. But as you start to fall asleep, the melatonin starts to rev up the engine. Well, a schizophrenic doesn't get enough sleep. That's one of the things that every study has shown about schizophrenia. They are insomniacs. So if you do that enough, then melatonin more and more will start to be synthesized while you're awake, and it starts to open your gateway, and you start getting these hallucinations. So DMT is what's cracking that protection of keeping it electromagnetically dormant while you're awake. So it does very much look like the pineal gland is a natural hypergate. Now, here's another interesting thing. A colleague of mine discovered that the eardrum inside the ear is tilted on a weird angle. That's not straight up and down like you'd think it would be, or that you normally would imagine. It's tilted, and it actually tilts forward like this. So the eardrums look like this inside your head. Okay? What he found was that he could build microphones that had this orientation, like where they are in your head, and he gets a three-dimensional recording. So if I were to take one of these mics and put it here in the room, and then somebody ran over through the back screaming, and then we take his speakers, because he built holographic speakers, and you pop the speakers right there in the same exact room, and you press play on the tape recording, you're going to hear that person running behind the room as if they were there. You get a holographic sound. Now it makes sense, right? If light can be holographic, light is a vibration, why couldn't you do exactly the same thing with sound? This is how it's done. It's done by reverse engineering the way your ears already work. Because the human ear has a better three-dimensional tracking system than any other creature. The only creature that even comes close is the owl, which obviously for the hunting purposes. So we have a very unique hyperdimensional mechanism, and he actually also found that these lobes of the inner ear here are corresponding in the geometric angles to the Great Pyramid, the angles and slope of the Great Pyramid. So this is what happens. They're coplanar with a tetrahedron inside your head, the point of which comes out through the third eye center. And of course the third eye is at the geometric center of this. So when you're going into the pineal gland, when you're falling asleep, you're going to lie down, you're going to tilt your head like this. Which way is the tetrahedron pointing now? Which way is the triangle going to be? Like this, right? And your eye is in the center. So doesn't that look a lot like this? So this is the secret, okay? There is a secret that has been kept right in front of our eyes. Nobody understands it. And again, as I said yesterday, I'm actually releasing this information for the first time. No one has ever made this public before. This is from deep in the Black Ops stuff. And I only was able to put the whole thing together from 7 different witness testimonies that all correlated independently of each other. That's how I found out that it's from the pineal gland. I'm not sure that they would want anybody to know this, so I am taking a risk at revealing this, but that's why I did it publicly first. Because this is what's happening. This is why this matters, okay? Could we reverse engineer the pineal gland? We have a basic system here. We have water that flips inside out. This allows you to see over into this other realm that we already know exists because we can prove in quantum physics that a particle turns into a wave and the wave is spaced out in time. Or has it already been done? Has it already been done? In fact, we have to ask ourselves, what are the needs? We need a barrel-shaped or pine-cone-shaped container holding water, and it would have to be a special water. Then you have to have an electromagnetic shielding capability. Like I was saying, you got to have this system that can do all this kind of stuff inside in order to shield it off from space-time. You have to be able to fine-tune the fields because, as it turns out, how these little vibrations run has everything to do with where it goes. It's like Google Earth. Everybody here use Google Earth? You ever seen it? You can click on something and you zoom in on it. Well, that's what the fine-tuning of these fields does for you. It actually is like coordinates, latitude, longitude, and time. Then you need some kind of method to pick up the visual images. Now, normally in the pineal gland, you do it with the retinal tissue, but you don't have a retina when you're dealing with a machine, so what do? Well, what does a television use? It uses a cathode ray, right? It's a little thing that shoots onto this surface, and the electrons strike the surface, and they glow. Well, an ionized gas is going to glow if you strike it with this energy, so why not squirt an ionized gas in the middle, and then that might pick up the visual images.
Getting back to this Daniel situation, I had the opportunity to meet this guy. I had flown to New York. I'd gotten off.
Take exit close again. No, but ask. No, I don't want to leave. Oh. Okay, how do I quick reset state? Cast 20 plus. Okay, these are the quests down here. Feel good design. Contains a fucking item. Everything. What? Just make this good. Deck 60, service and stats. Which mean nothing to me because it says nothing. Click to see more details. Okay, you have to do that. Creature, no creatures. Okay, it's okay, I see, I get it. Now how about playing with it? Double click to edit. What's this?